Have you ever been afraid to go back to your home country? Maybe you need asylum. Every year, people come to the United States seeking protection from harm or persecution from their home country because of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. If you're under some circumstances, you might feel distressed or hopeless. However, there is a way for you to get protection. I'm Andre Major, immigration attorney and an immigrant myself. And today I'll be discussing what asylum means, who is eligible for it, and how you can get such protection. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and check out our other videos. Let's get to it. What is asylum? Asylum is a form of protection granted to individuals who flee to another country due to a well-founded fear of being persecuted or harmed in his or her home country, or in the country where they habitually resided, if they are without nationality. So, if you are persecuted in your country and you're fleeing from it, or you don't have a country, you're stateless, asylum could be an option for you. What is the difference between refugee and Assailee? Glad you asked. Individuals who are unable or unwilling to return to their country because of well-founded threats from their home country are defined as refugees under the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1952. They are granted refugee status while still outside of the U.S. On the other hand, an Asylee is someone who meets the definition of a refugee and is already in the U.S. or is seeking admission to the U.S. at the port of entry. So, refugee is someone outside the U.S. that needs to meet a certain criteria. Asylee is someone who's inside the U.S. that needs to meet the same criteria. Now that we've defined these terms, let's discuss who can apply for asylum. Regardless of your immigration status, you can apply for asylum if you are already in the U.S. or at a port of entry. But the asylum must be applied for within 1 year of your arrival to the U.S. or within 1 year of the expiration date of your legal stay in the U.S. For example, if you entered the U.S. on January 1st of 2022 and you were given until February 28th, 2022 to depart the U.S., then your 1 year starts from February 29th, 2022, not January 1st. So it's the day after your legal stay ends. That's when the 1 year clock begins. Now, what if you've been in the U.S. for more than 1 year? Are there exceptions? Yes, there are. You may qualify for exception if you can show changed circumstances that affect your asylum eligibility, such as inclusion in another person's asylum application as their dependent. For example, you just married. Or extraordinary circumstances explaining the delay in your filing, such as serious illness and mental or physical disability. Now, what are some benefits that asylees may apply for? If you are granted asylum, you're eligible to apply for work authorization in the U.S. You can petition to bring family members in the country. You can access certain government assistance, and you can request permission to travel abroad. However, it's also important to note that there are certain individuals who are not eligible for asylum. These are persons who already had an application for asylum denied by an immigration judge or Board of Immigration Appeals, or those who could be transferred to another country through a safe third country agreement. For example, if you're a citizen of more than one country, you would need to prove that you fear persecution in both countries. In most cases, those who are banned from asylum because of criminal conduct or filing outside the 1 year deadline and don't qualify for an exception are instead eligible for withholding of removal, which provides less benefits than asylum. Before continuing with withholding or removal, go ahead and hit the like button and click the bell icon to keep yourself updated about all our immigration-related content. Now let's get back to it. What is withholding of removal? This is also a form of protection to not be returned back to your home country while having the right to remain in the U.S. and to even work legally. However, this protection is less certain than asylum because the government can still deport you to a different country if that country agrees to accept you. And unlike asylum, you cannot petition to bring your family to the U.S., and it does not provide a path for permanent residence or citizenship. As its name suggests, it is a withholding of the order for you to be removed from the U.S. That means you did get an order of deportation, but the government is not going to send you back because of what you proved, unless circumstances change. This protection at the moment may only be granted by an immigration judge working in the immigration court system. However, this is changing, and in the future, an asylum officer will also have the authority to grant you withholding of removal. And with that, let's talk about how to apply for asylum. People who flee their country for valid reasons for asylum must timely fill out Form I-589, application for asylum and withholding of removal, with the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, also known as USCIS. However, those with ongoing or current immigration proceedings must file with the immigration court having jurisdiction over the case, not USCIS. There are no filing fees for the application. After completing the form, you're also going to need to prepare supporting documents indicated in the application, like evidence on your home country's general conditions, supplementary statements and evidence of relationship to your listed family members, passport style photos, and other identification documents, as well as supporting documents proving what you say is true. Once USCIS has received your application, you'll receive two notices. One is a receipt notice for a properly filed application. Second is a biometric service appointment where you'll be required to appear and submit your fingerprints, photograph, and/or signature. After that, if you're not in removal proceedings, the next step is the asylum interview. You must bring to the interview all the original and supporting documents you have. Your listed family members in the U.S. must also come to the interview with you. If you have questions about that, contact an immigration attorney. You don't always have to bring every child with you, particularly if it's a baby. If you do not speak English, you must bring a translator. The asylum office does not provide interpreters. Again, take a look at the notice in your appointment because that does change depending on the field office. I know it certainly did for COVID. You may also bring a lawyer with you or witnesses to testify on your behalf. The interview is the most important part of your asylum case. You should bring a lawyer to the interview and to help you prepare before the interview. After the interview, the officer will determine if you are eligible for asylum. If you receive an approval, congratulations, you are now an Asylee, which means you can apply for work permit if you don't already have it. You can get a social security if you don't already have it, apply for a travel permit after 1 year of physical presence in the US, and a year after being granted that status, you can apply to become a green card holder. But if you're not approved, what do? Well, if you were in removal proceedings when you filed for asylum, that means you had a trial in front of a judge. If he denied your application, you can appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals. However, if you weren't in removal, then you appeared before an asylum officer who then denied your application. You have the right to have an immigration judge review that decision. That means having a trial in front of the judge. You get a second chance to get it right. While the case is pending, you generally should remain inside the United States. And that, folks, summarizes what asylum is, who can apply for it, and what are the requirements and process for its application. If you learned a lot from this video, feel free to like and share with other people who are considering filing for asylum. And if you have any ideas for future videos or would like me to talk about a particular immigration-related topic, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. You can call us today if you want to discuss your case or need help on your visa, green card, or citizenship application. And we'll let you know if and how we can help. Remember, every case is different and we won't take your money if we can't help you. Until next time, stay healthy and be safe.